Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Julie, and you can find out more about what I do in the description box below. But we're here today to do the channeled guidance for the week. And yeah, as usual, I was just checking in with what the message was that was coming through, and it was about honoring ourselves. And what that means is, you know, at the moment there's a lot happening, and despite what we see on the external world, it's less about that and more about what's happening within us, which for some you might see a bit strange, or how can whatever your feelings are about what your personal situation is, etc. It's an opportunity to really check in with yourself and understand yourself better, because the more that we can honor these things that we're experiencing and the fears that come up and all that type of stuff, then the more whole that we can become, because we actually, when we take that time to see what's happening for us and to acknowledge it, it almost releases it, allows it to go to heal, and or at least start that process. And when we do that, and then it's almost like we give ourselves the opportunity to let those old fears, those old experiences go, because what I see, especially in some of the new age stuff, it's almost just bypass that process of understanding where our challenging emotions come from, and just go into the light. But that's not really, for me personally anyway, it's not really about that, because the more that we can, and it's not about going into that pity part, or really wallowing in one's emotions, because that's not really helpful either. But it's really about acknowledging what's happening for you at the moment, whether there's something, it could be what's happening in the wider world, it could be a personal situation, but really giving yourself that space to feel what is happening for you. And you don't have to do anything about it. It's just more acknowledging, perhaps, you're feeling alone, or that's something that I experienced this week, that feeling of aloneness. And it was so interesting because it was something completely unexpected that triggered it. And I look back on it now, and it was very minor, but actually it was really helpful for it to come up, because it it's almost an aspect of me which I had known before. It's kind of a long story, so I won't go into it, but it's acknowledging it and really giving myself that attention. We often seek support from others, which is great, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's when we can give ourselves what we feel we need from others, that's when we're really in our power. And we can't really do that if we don't honor and acknowledge what's happening for us. So that first step is really important. And so I encourage you this week to really give yourself that that space, that acknowledgement if things aren't going the way that you had planned, or you're suffering in some way. It's okay, and you wouldn't necessarily ignore it in someone else, so why ignore it in yourself? Just give yourself that honoring that you would give to somebody else who is experiencing some challenges. So that's the message that was coming through. So I hope that is helpful, and if you have any questions, do let me know. And then let's see what the tarot has to say for us this week. So what's the message for us? Oops. Okay. I'm going to pick that up in a second. Actually, I'll pick it up now. 1 second. There we go. Oops. Well, that must have flipped before. And then let's see what else. One final card, please. switch this quickly. So hopefully you can all see that now. Right, I'm using a different chair, so it's not always easy to see what's going on. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we've got the Page of Swords, and for me, as you can see, so there's two definitions. Firstly, or meanings. The page is the first in the court card decks, so court cards, and so it's almost the beginning of a new idea, a new way of being, almost, because the swords represent truth and as I mentioned before, ideas, authenticity. And so interesting, that's interesting, because that's exactly what I was just talking about before, just being really authentic with yourself, because when you do that, when you can be, really acknowledge what's happening for yourself, it gives others permission to do that. And there's nothing better than sharing honestly or being your authentic self with others. It's really empowering for yourself, and it's really connecting, really creates strong connections with others. So it's almost like this week is that new beginning. So really check in, are you being authentic in how you are? Like, are you acknowledging what you're experiencing to yourself? Are you, and to others, really? Like, if you're having conversation, the normal conversation we start with is, how are you doing, or how are you? And most of the time people are like, yeah, not bad, fine, blah blah blah, and there's not really a connection there. Like, no, I really want to know what's really happening with you. It's almost, we just go into that automatic mode. But you can start to be really authentic, so that you can create these authentic relationships. And then the second part is also about clearing the old stuff, because I see the clouds, and I see the swords clearing those clouds away. So, and those clouds are the fog, the old thoughts that really just leave you in a state of confusion, or don't give you clarity. And so it's almost about getting clear again about where you are and where you're heading, or what it is that you really want. So there's two aspects to this Page of Swords. So tune into what resonates for you. So I'm just going to move these across. So the first card that came out is the Nine of Cups, and this is someone who's really happy, and they've gone from the Eight of Cups, which is walking away from something, to get this. And so there's that message of what is it that you need to leave behind, so that you can get into this state of joy. And I know he looks probably a bit I don't know what's the word, I can't quite get the word, but arrogant, that's it. But really it's what is it that you need to walk away from in order to get, have the happiness that you're seeking, that you really want. So take time to really contemplate that. And interesting enough, we've got pardon me, the Devil card, and the Devil card is about our addictions, and this can be addictions to thoughts and beliefs that really don't help us. And in a way, we are addicted to thoughts in general, because rather than just observing those thoughts, we get attached to certain ones, but then also we're attached to certain beliefs as well, and it's that it creates that tension in the ego. So then rather, we end up with a weakened ego, because people always say that the ego is a bad thing, but without the ego we wouldn't exist here, we wouldn't have a personality. So the ego is an important part of being human, really. But it's when a strong ego is one that is based on love and a good sense of self, whereas a weak ego is based on addictions, and you almost get locked into a certain way of being, because you see here these two, I guess they're meant to represent Adam and Eve, are chained to the devil. And so it's about freeing yourself from your addictions. What are your addictions? What can you let go of? And it comes hand in hand with this Nine of Cups, because in order to get to the Nine of Cups, it's time to let go of something that's no longer serving you. And whether it's food, whether it's addiction to buying things or having things. Really take that time to think about it. And I don't normally do reversals, but this came out that way, and I thought, it felt right that it was seen that way. And so we've got the Five of Cups, and this is when we look at everything that we've lost and we don't see what we actually have. And when we do that, we don't have the gratitude for what we, in life we do have so much already, but we see the lack and we focus on that, and so what we get more of that. And so what this is saying is when we go into that, we let go of those things that no longer serve us, those addictive qualities, then we move into this space where we can see what we truly have. We do have gratitude, and we're not just looking at the lack, but we're looking at all the wonderful things that we do have in life. And that's our experience. That's what we're here for, to experience, to have this experience on the planet. So I hope that makes sense in terms of the guidance for this week. Really, just in summary, stand in your truth, be your authentic self, more than ever, and have authentic conversations with others, and allow those, really clear out those old beliefs, thought patterns that are keeping you stuck in a place that isn't happy or isn't fulfilling for you. Because when you do that, you will have happiness, and you'll see the gifts that you really do have in life. So thanks so much for watching. It was really lovely to read for you, and I'll see you at another video. Bye.